Hey everybody, Steve Colescott for elitefts.com. I have questions for Brian Schwab, and the topic today is Brian's coaching. He's the kind of guy who's known for many different things, most of all as a legend in the sport from just decades of championship lifting. As far as working with athletes, he kind of takes a different approach. We see a lot of online gurus that are kind of jumping in, trying to take credit for the programming of people that were already on their way to being champions. But what Brian does is he gets kind of average Joes that walk into his gym and he turns them into competitive lifters, which I have to imagine is a combination of knowing how to do that and inspiring them to want to do that. Brian, can you tell us why that different approach? Do you find that more fulfilling with just working with average people and turning them into powerlifters?
Steve, I wouldn't necessarily say that's my intent, but since Orlando Barbell isn't just a powerlifting gym, it's essentially a powerlifting friendly gym that allows general members. It's also a 24-hour card access gym, so we get a lot of people in off the street who may have no interest in powerlifting to begin with, but they see the way that the team trains and they see the benefit that they get from it, so they gain an interest from that. And yes, it is very rewarding to see people go from having no interest in powerlifting to achieving PRs and having a different outlook on life because of it. But along with that, Orlando Barbell and my programming has produced collegiate level national champions, AAPF national champions, multiple world record holders. At one point we even won the AAPF national championships as a team. So along with people developing interest from not knowing anything about it, we have produced a significant number of world record holders as well.
And Brian, what do you look for when a person walks in on the street to decide if that is someone that you want to turn into a powerlifter?
Steve, I wouldn't necessarily say that I make the decision to make anyone into a powerlifter. They really have to make that decision on their own. But like I said, we do have a lot of people who come in, since we do have general members, and they just happen to come in and they see what we're doing and they decide that they want to incorporate that into their training. And I really think that powerlifting is a sport that really just about anybody can do, because the whole idea behind it is you're able to set and accomplish goals that can actually carry over into other aspects of your life. So I would never discourage anyone who has any interest in powerlifting. I think that anyone can actually do it.
Now, this is kind of a big question. What are some of the common things, some of the common mistakes that you see with beginners as you take them from like this, casual fitness thing to becoming powerlifters?
I would say the most common mistakes that I see beginning lifters make is, first of all, training too heavy too often, which is going to make them more likely to get hurt, which is why a well thought out program such as this can be so beneficial. Secondly, I would say that they a lot of times set their goals too high, and setting unrealistic goals is going to make them more likely to become discouraged when they're not able to accomplish them. Lastly, I would say that if they plan to compete, not training to competition standards, so that if they eventually do get to the meet and they haven't been training to what the rules state, then they're also going to become discouraged if they're not able to make it through the meet or have a very difficult time doing so.
And my last little follow-up to this is something that you could speak to better than anyone. What are some of the physical and mental traits that make someone a champion?
I think one of the most important traits for someone to be able to succeed in powerlifting, or really any sport, or at least to be able to have longevity in it, is being able to have balance in their lives. You can't focus on any one aspect of your life and expect to be successful in that as well as other aspects. You need to have balance between your family life, your work, as well as the sport. And then in order to be successful specifically in powerlifting, just like with anything, that if you set a goal, you need to do whatever it takes to accomplish that goal. You need to be able to overcome adversity, you need to be able to overcome negativity, and you need to be able to essentially do whatever it takes to accomplish that goal without giving up.